What is South Africa known for? Nelson Mandela, apartheid, the Table Mountain, the Springbok rugby team, or the fact that we are the most unequal society in the world. These are some of the things that might come to mind when we talk about South Africa. We are a country where the poor live on less than $1 a day, where 2.1 million people experience hunger daily. This sounds horrific, right?
It gets worse. Unemployment is at its highest, with 67% of our young people unemployed. In the past year, agricultural inputs have increased by over 48%. The country's GDP growth rate is projected to slow down to 0.3% in 2023, with many of our youth resorting to drug and alcohol abuse. It appears gloomy, right? But today, we have a story of hope.
Hope is the driving force behind every remarkable story, and our story is not different. We are a group of students that are passionate about building sustainable businesses and restoring hope in our community. And today, we want to share our story with you.
A story of how we have instilled optimism by helping schools to supplement their feeding schemes in a community plagued by limited educational opportunities and poverty.
We established a network of worm growers by training unemployed women and youth.
We capacitated farmers with sustainable farming practices, and most importantly, we changed the narrative for one of our own.
My name is Taelo Matlala, a final year engineering student at the Central University of Technology. I became an orphan at a tender age. I lost my uncle during the academic year, who was the breadwinner, and I lost my university funding, which was the main source of sustenance, and also had to take up a difficult role of leading at home. Food insecurity was not just a concept to me, but it was a lived experience.
We realized that we needed to take action. We needed a solution, one that could address these challenges at scale, but still be easy to learn, sustainable, organic, accessible, and that we could implement. This was a big task, and we needed to design it in a phased approach.
To achieve this, we conceptualized Vermi Village, a social enterprise that uses worm farming to create an agricultural ecosystem. To give a better perspective, worm farming, also known as vermiculture, utilizes earthworms to transform organic waste into nutrient-rich compost, which enhances soil fertility, improves soil structure, and boosts crop yields.
Why vermiculture, you may ask? While fertilizers provide plants with a brief boost, they leave the soil chemically reliant. The commercial output can rise by up to 26% when vermicompost is added to the soil, because it introduces living microorganisms that can break down organic matter and makes it nutrient-rich for the plants.
Now, with this understanding of the benefits of vermiculture, let us delve into our business model, which comprises of 5 phases. Over the past 12 months, we have witnessed a remarkable growth in our worm farming operations. What started with just 2 kgs of worms has now expanded to accommodate 44 kgs of worms. This huge progress clearly indicates potential for even more growth.
In our mission to promote environmental conservation, we have entered into a memorandum of understanding with Meals on Wheels. This agreement granted us access to 1 hectare of land on the Meals on Wheels farm. This new resource will allow us to scale up our farming capacity from 44 kilograms to a projected 100 kilograms of worms.
In response to a growing worm population, we initiated the second phase of our model, where we collect food waste from street vendors that serves as feed for our worms. To date, we have collected 960 kgs of food waste. To increase this amount, we have partnered with an agro-processing company in Free State, South Africa. We have reduced 1,824 kilograms of our carbon footprint through this initiative, which equates to 163 days of electricity consumption for a single household. Every kilogram counts towards a more sustainable future.
In the third phase, we aim to educate the market on this concept that is novel to our community. We do this by creating awareness through expos, exhibitions, and information sessions. In our bid to socialize our community to this innovative concept, we exhibited at the Opportunities Expo, a youth day event organized by the National Youth Development Agency. In addition, our enterprise was televised on ENCA, the second largest news broadcasting channel in South Africa, with a viewership of over 2.4 million. Post this, several number of people showed interest in becoming worm growers.
The sales leads included religious groups, university students, and schools that have since planted to supplement their feeding scheme, and this will feed over 2,580 children.
When individuals participate in our vermiculture programs, they become part of a broader community committed to environmental stewardship. This takes us to the fourth phase of our business model, building a network of worm growers. During the trainings, the worm growers are introduced to a mobile community where they can share best practices and receive continuous mentorship.
The training program is priced at $31.84 for Central University of Technology students and $106.15 for external participants. It includes both theoretical and practical training, a starter pack containing 200 grams of worms, a worm bed, and 12 months of dedicated mentorship.
This year, we trained 66 new worm growers and generated a revenue of $4,225. The trainees included 6 church ladies, 21 students from Central University of Technology and University of the Free State, and 13 community members sponsored by University's Community Engagement Unit.
One of our growers, Dr. Karen Fenter, went on to train 70 more students who are part of a university food security program, and this program feeds 250 students.
I work in the Directorate of Community Engagement at the University of Free State. I attended the training that was provided by Enactus. The reason why I attended it is first my own interest in worm farming, to become a worm farmer, but then also as part of a community-based research project. So the ideal is that our vermicompost then can be used in the community gardens, but also as the worm beds grow, we want there's also an entrepreneurship program where students can then the excess vermicompost they can then sell.
Key to growing our network is our strategic partnership with Interstate Bus Lines, a local transport company that has sponsored $1,035 to support 10 worm growers to access our trainings, expanding our network to yet another community.
Our dedication to sustainability translated into action through the collaboration with growers, boosting our organic compost production. This diversification allowed us to enter the markets by selling worms, thereby expanding the agricultural sector and offering individuals additional income-generating opportunities.
To assess the nutritional value of our compost, we partnered with the Department of Agriculture at the Central University of Technology that conducted soil samples and nutrition tests.
The lab test revealed a significant contribution of worms in improving soil nutrient content and reducing soil toxins, with notable decreases in pH and electroconductivity. The NPK levels were higher in the soil samples containing worms.
With the Methodist Church as our first client, we ventured into compost distribution, marking a significant stride towards our vision of becoming a leading organic compost distributor in Central South Africa.
As the church, we've been requested to venture into farming, especially crop farming. We had to venture into vermicompost. So far we've used it for the potatoes. That was our pilot project.
What we have done through farming worms is that we've used the compost in our crop production. So this means that we're now able to produce products that are organic.
In embodying the essence of Enactus, let us unveil the values that have filled our journey.
Passion.
We poured our hearts and souls into this endeavor, driven by our love for our land and its people.
Innovation.
With creativity as our compass, we found new paths in the world of farming, making our dreams sprout and bloom.
Integrity.
In every step we took, honesty and sincerity led our way, guiding us through the darkest nights of doubt.
And collaboration. Side by side, we joined hands with fellow enthusiasts, pulling our strengths and sharing the joys of progress.
True to these values, we ignited a flame within our community, training 66 worm growers, sparking the belief that change is possible even in the face of uncertainty, and empowering them to achieve social and environmental impact.
This year, our total income amounted to $5,780. This is a 205% increase compared to the 2022 financial year. Some of the proceeds were then invested in technological equipment that supports training and communication.
A life without impact and purpose is like a hollow void. Through Vemi Village Enterprise, we have instilled a sense of optimism in our communities. This year, we witnessed the transformation of 740 lives directly impacted by our enterprise, a remarkable increase of 1,955% increase compared to 2022. Additionally, 3,745 lives were indirectly impacted. That's 1,980% surge compared to the previous year, signifying a potential for a brighter future. The success of this business gave me a sense of purpose and belonging. It provided me with a platform to share my knowledge and passion for farming with like-minded people.
No matter where we are from, we all face challenges, but they don't define us. Enactus inspires us to overcome these challenges, fostering in us a profound sense of hope and a desire to write our own stories of resilience.
This year, our 45 team members and 11 directors have dedicated over 5,070 hours to empower people, infusing their narratives with hope and determination. These stories are just the beginning, promising a brighter and more hopeful future.
Tackling global issues and acknowledging that changing the world begins with making real change in our own communities, one worm at a time, turning waste into wealth. Hailing from the southern tip of Africa, we are
Enactus South Africa.
Thank you, Enactus South Africa. Judges, we may now begin the Q&A session. So if you have a question, please raise your hand.
How's it, South Africa? You represent your country well. Your financials look excellent. You really warmed up the room. I want to know how you measure and who helps you measure your positive and negative impact.
So we have a mentorship program that we have for our worm growers. We check in on them every fortnight because some of our worm growers are not within our proximity. So we call them because some of them are in remote areas that they don't have access. We also have a WhatsApp group where they're able to send through their queries whenever they have any challenges. So that's how we track. We use Google Forms. So every time that we call them, we actually track the progress that, okay, this worm grower has gone from this phase to this phase, and they've grown from this worm bed to 2 beds or more.
Thank you for the presentation. I just have one question. Any plans to diversify?
Yes, we actually want to diversify into other products as well as crop farming because we want to see the impact of our compost. We actually want to go further from just having a general compost. We want to be able to give farmers compost that are directly at their own products or rather crops. So if you're selling your carrots, we want to be able to give you compost that focuses on enriching carrot nutrients. If you're selling potatoes, the likes, we want to be able to do that.
Just to add also on that, with vermicomposting or vermiculture, you are able to sell worms, you are able to have liquid compost, you are able to generate more income through producing your skin care products. So that's how we are planning to diversify as we are proceeding with our business model.
Great presentation, great energy. Your numbers look great as well. The people trained in 2023 increased by more than 800%. The income generated also increased, but only by 200%. Can you explain that difference?
So with the people trained, we were not only training general people. We have 2 ways that we are charging our trainings. We charge our trainings as per your individual. So we also give training for students, but we priced it a little lower because we are just students and we don't have extra income, but we still gain profit from that. Hence, our profit is still 200% increase. So our worm growers are inclusive of us because we are worm growers on our own.
How big is your team overall? How much do you rely on volunteering? And do you imagine yourself doing this in 10 years from now?
So our Vermi Village is actually an enterprise. We have 11 directors, but we do depend on the Enactus team, which is comprising of 45 more members. From time to time, when we have project site visits that need us to have more intensive labor, that's when we bring in the volunteering aspect. But initially, we are directors that are 11 with different roles that we play. I am the CEO, he's the director of operations, and under him, he has other directors of operations because we have sub-projects within the actual project, which is the schools projects as well as the quality assurance and other aspects.
Over the last year, you increased your income by 200%. Do you have any projections for the future where you want to be in terms of income in like 2 or 3 years? What are your plans?
Yes, we actually, based on those projections, we had a target, but we exceeded our target. So because of that, we were able to see that we can actually go further than just the 200%. We would like to go to 400%. So the next time when we present, we say, we have reached 400% of growth increase.
What was the absolute hardest part of this project for you?
The hardest part was losing our worms. When we first got training, we actually purchased the first batch of our worms, and they eventually became part of a family. You know how you get animals and they become like part of the family. So when we lost some of our worms, we almost felt like having a funeral. But so that was the hardest part because we put in so much work to make sure that we take care of the environment that they're in. So seeing them die felt like we failed them. So, but that also gave us an opportunity to learn how to create a more conducive environment, and thus
Your time has expired. Thank you, Enactus South Africa.